البحر بكاري السفر ومين مثلي تلوع وقدي نطر مع كل موجي رايحة ببعد سلام ومع كل موجي راجعة بنطر خبر
The past of our Lebanese community is a wonderful story of people with pioneering and persevering spirit. The story of their beginnings is one that is chronicled by word of mouth, retold through the generations. The first Lebanese man to arrive in the Halifax area was a gentleman from Bazoun in the north of Lebanon. But no one seems to remember his name or knows if he still has descendants here today. The first recorded names are those of William Hussein and Peter Al-Alam, two gentlemen from Haras al-Jubbi, a town in the north of Lebanon. They arrived together sometime around 1887. Some 10 years later, the next immigrant arrived was Abraham Arab, who was from Liman, again in the north of Lebanon. Abraham had previously traveled to Mexico with his sister, but returned to Lebanon during what was known as the Ottoman Empire occupation of the country. Lebanon then was a state, known as Lebanon, but part of a greater Syria. Like many of his time, religious persecution and economic hardship drove Abraham away in search of a new country. He left Lebanon for St. Louis, Missouri, where he quickly discovered this was not the place for him in the late 1880s. He experienced lack of work and discrimination. He was most unhappy and shared his views with his good friend William Hussein, who continued to live in Halifax. Abraham corresponded on a regular basis with William and told him of the conditions in St. Louis. As a result, William encouraged Abraham to join him in Halifax, where there was work and where the people were friendly. And so, Abraham traveled across borders by boat and by train until he arrived in Halifax. This immigration trend, where one immigrant becomes the magnet for others to follow and settle, continues to this day. Immigrants bring immigrants. So our community has risen from the arrival of three gentlemen in the 19th century to a viable and mixed community of Lebanese Canadians from all walks of life.
I was born in Lebanon in 1930, and I came to Canada for the first time in 1949.
I came Christmas Eve, 1955. It was storming, snowstorm.
We come to Halifax, it was April the 9th.
My grandfather came from Liman, Lebanon.
My parents came from Lebanon in 1955.
People, when they left Lebanon in those days, they came in out of desperation. They were hated and they were mistreated in Lebanon.
They left because of oppression by the Ottomans. They were under Ottoman control. And poverty, no work. They wanted to make money for their families.
Now, we didn't come here because we don't love or like our country or our village. Now, we came here because we felt there is a need to come here. We came here for the opportunities that didn't exist in Lebanon. My grandfather, for example, left alone. And back then, most men immigrated on their own. They left their families behind.
There was a wave of immigration. The first wave were those early people. The second wave was between 1949 and probably 1953. Those were also sponsored people that came.
These people that were like, they didn't speak the language. They really had limited financial support. So they worked very hard. It was very difficult for them. So basically they were the blue-collar workers of the city.
Then you had the third wave of all kinds of people that were allowed to come between 76 to 90 during the Civil War.
Most of them were educated people. They came here, they went to universities. And at that time, the children and the kids of the older immigration is growing up, they start going to university. So all of a sudden you have contingent of educated Lebanese in the city. You know, we started getting engaged with the broader community. We got into different boards, we got into different organizations. We made a name for ourselves. We became a factor in the economy.
Lebanon Society of Halifax is the first organization that emerged out of the Lebanese community in Halifax. It has played a vital role, directly or indirectly, through its members in every facet of the Lebanese community. A group of ambitious individuals met November 13, 1938, 3 o'clock in the afternoon in the Halifax law office of what then became our first president of the Canadian Lebanon Society, Edward Francis Arab.
He made up the original constitution.
He was the president.
Oh yeah, he was the first president.
He called the people that he knew, and he was the one that said, let's form a society, let's form something where we would be heard.
Out of that meeting, the Canadian Lebanon Society of Halifax emerged.
Well, Demand Association started in our hometown back in the 60s, and it was a movement to try to bring young people together so that they could do things collectively, enjoy the community, and develop a cultural, historical, and social connection to the village.
Our Lady of Lebanon founded between the 1980 and 1984 with Father Monsignor Khair Al-Aukar, now he's core bishop.
In August the 20th, 1980, we were incorporated as St. Antonius Church of Nova Scotia.
Feel St. Antonius, not only it's a place of worship, it is their hometown.
When that church comes in, your heart here, your spirit here. That's the
Canadian Lebanese Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Nova Scotia is a non-profit organization. It was established in January 2004. It is a networking organization among the Canadian Lebanese Chamber of Commerce members.
We're composed of, core businessmen of different industries, whether it be lawyers, engineers, restaurant owners, doctors.
Consulate here in Halifax is obviously a diplomatic office representing the country of Lebanon, and it is here to serve the community, the Lebanese nationals, that they live in the maritime provinces. It's a great honor to represent your country of origin, and it is very rewarding to be able to serve your people.
لبنان بده حبابه عم يسأل عاللي غابوا لبنان بده حبابه عم يسأل عاللي غابوا.
All these institutions, they're here to bring us together, to maintain, to preserve the heritage and the culture, because we all believe that it's very important.
I think the only way we move somewhere in the future is if we work together hand in hand and in focusing on maintaining the values and the culture and the heritage.
The fact that people are so very, very successful today has some basis in the fact that the early people took such an initiative, sort of laid the groundwork, if you like.
You travel outside the world, you can see what Canada we have. We have the best country in the world.
What Canada offers you the opportunities, offers you peace, offers you equality. And being Lebanese, when these precious elements in your life, they're not available to you, make you appreciate more and more what you have here.
It's made me want to continue what my parents' generation have done, and I want to pass this on to my children and my grandchildren.
This is our city. This is our province. This is our country. And we have to be engaged in all fields and be part of it, be part of decision making. It's very, very important.
And never forget Lebanon.
يا مغتربين يا مغتربين ع لبنان عودوا تحدى أرزنا نوفي وعودوا نسقي من شرايين القلب هو عودوا تا يبقى أخضر بعز الشباب